So there's this show that I remember watching growing up from Taiwan, and I don't know the name in English, but it essentially translates into like Smelly Fart King, and it was all about this boy who his name was Smelly Fart King, and he would just get into a lot of crazy adventures. And I remember thinking, again, how this is a show is so funny and so weird, and thinking that I would like to do this. One day, maybe they'll let me make the American version of Smelly Fart King. So I'm manifesting this. What I didn't know about writing comedy was that it is so collaborative, and it really is kind of a team effort. It's always a group project. You're there with a bunch of other people, and again, you're just trying to make jokes, and then also someone pitches a joke, and you're like, yes, love that, what about this? What about like adding on to it? And so I think that's the thing. I just really thought, writers, like you're sitting there in your room and you're writing. This is how people write, right? Like awkwardly with their hands like this, and you just do this the whole time, right? Like that's what I assumed writing was, but I didn't realize how collaborative it really is. It's like you need every person's idea, and I think especially in comedy, you need to be not precious about your ideas. It's like you have something, you throw it out there, someone says, yeah, but what about this? And you kind of have to shift and go with what the room feels like is the right idea. And I think especially in comedy, you have the currency of laughter. You know what works because everyone in the room is laughing. And so that's kind of a nice element of, there is sort of like an empirical evidence of like something is working because you can hear laughter. I think always starting the script, like the blank page is always incredibly daunting. And it's always, like even if you have everything broken out in your head, you have your outline, you have it all done, I think just getting it out there is just sort of awful every single time. Is it just me? It's, writing is the worst part of writing? Is that a good thing to say? No, but getting the words out there, because I think the outlining part is also incredibly hard, because that's when you're like actually coming up with the entire structure of everything. And so again, the ideas are really, really fun, but then actually getting to like put it down on paper, I mean, I think that's what separates people who are writers from people who are just really funny and not writers. Like actually being able to put it on paper is the thing that is always the most challenging, at least to me. Basically, my process is that I need complete silence, but complete silence with something running in the background, but on silent, on mute. So like usually it's like a sport or something that's just on, so that I can always kind of like look up and see something that's happening, so that like the world is going on around me, but I can't have any noise. And I think once I get started, then it's like, it sometimes feels like it's really nice and there's a nice flow, but like getting started, whew, that is tricky. That's hard. I think the biggest thing, obviously, writing would be, keep on writing, and I think that's probably something that a lot of people say, but I'd also give yourself permission to not write. Like, give yourself that time, if you can, to be able to go out, to be able to go out and, live your life and experience things, because those are the experiences that you're going to be able to write about later. And so it's okay not to always be writing. I think, when you think of what a writer looks like, it's just like a tortured person sitting behind a keyboard and just or scribbling in a notebook furiously. It's like those things, of course, writing is really important, but also just go out and live life and have experiences and get yourself into weird situations that you're then able to write about later. And then obviously I think that that's an incredibly privileged position to be in, but I know that too, it's like some of the things that some of the most interesting ideas have been old jobs that I had when I was growing up, or old, internships that I did that never came out to anything, but that I now look back on, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because I was part of this world that's really weird, that has nothing to do with writing, but now I'm able to write about that stuff. They feel so different, because in film, it feels like we, as writers, we're sometimes just the hired hand. Although I was lucky enough to be able to produce the film that I just most recently wrote, so at the same time, like, I was sort of more involved. I think in TV, you are kind of the overall boss. Like, people are coming to you with all the questions. You have to deal with so many things that are not just writing related. So that's a hard one, but I'd say maybe probably TV. 30 Rock. Okay, this is so bad. I'm not a snacker. So I don't, water? That's horrible. That's a horrible answer. I feel like this is like sad, because I'm like, wow, do I really not have any snacks? Because I was thinking, when you said, like, I'm gonna ask you about snacks, I was like, what do I eat? Now I'm stressing. I'm like, do I eat food? Is that a bad human trait to not have a snack? You can't have a snack. Like, unless someone's like feeding you grapes or something while you're eating. Actually, that. Oh.